All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're diving into something I like to call the digital dilemma, exploring the hidden physical costs of our super efficient modern digital businesses. I mean, think about it. We spent the last couple of decades totally optimizing our workflows, entirely ripping paper out of our offices, and moving pretty much everything to the cloud. But while our companies have gotten so much lighter and faster, the actual physical toll on the human beings running these systems, well, that has quietly skyrocketed.
And that brings us to a really provocative starting point for our discussion today. We have digitized our offices, sure, but what is it actually doing to our bodies? We're going to take a really close look at the exact intersection of digital bookkeeping and human anatomy. What actually happens when you trade physical filing cabinets and, just walking around an office for 8 uninterrupted hours staring right into a glowing rectangle? We have to ask ourselves, what is this paperless utopia doing to our eyes, our necks, and our wrists?
Here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The paperless revolution, 2. Drawbacks of digital work, 3. Computer vision syndrome, 4. Musculoskeletal and posture problems, 5. Carpal tunnel syndrome, and finally, 6. Surviving the digital office.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the paperless revolution. Look, making the leap to paperless bookkeeping and virtual operations, it's really no longer just a fun trend, right? It's the absolute baseline for modern commerce. And the pros are totally undeniable. Digitizing your records saves serious money on office space, it fully supports flexible remote work, drastically cuts down on human error with smart auto-checking tools, and hey, it even helps the Earth by shrinking a company's carbon footprint. But we have to be honest, the cons are just as real. You've got high setup costs, new tech skill requirements, and, of course, that very modern anxiety of data breaches and totally random tech failures.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 2, drawbacks of digital work.
Now, we spend so much time stressing over the technological drawbacks, like what if the Wi-Fi drops or the software crashes, that we completely ignore the biological drawbacks, specifically this creeping phenomenon known as screen time stress. A paperless office demands hours upon hours of screen time, and that triggers a whole cascade of physical tolls on our bodies. When your entire job literally exists inside a monitor, that prolonged use leads straight to eye defects, repetitive strain injuries, deep-seated back and wrist pains, chronic headaches, and just general heavy fatigue. Oh, and let's not gloss over the germs breeding on your keyboard. Your digital workflow might be spotless, but that physical keyboard you're touching all day, it's basically a petri dish.
Moving right along to Section 3, Computer Vision Syndrome.
Here is the harsh reality. You simply cannot participate in the digital economy if your vision is compromised. Computer vision syndrome is a real degenerative eye problem that results in severely reduced eyesight, blurred or unclear vision, and this overwhelming constant sense of eye tiredness. Anyone who uses a computer frequently is incredibly susceptible to this. But there is a silver lining. As our source material points out, this eye strain is usually just a temporary problem if you actually address it correctly and promptly.
Let me ask you, have you ever hit that 3 p.m. wall where your eyes are just burning or itching? Or maybe the text on your screen literally starts doubling? If so, you're absolutely experiencing computer vision syndrome. And what's actually causing this? Well, it's not just the glowing screen itself. It's a mix of elevated monitor glare, insufficient display quality, where your eyes are just working overtime trying to resolve the pixels, and surprisingly, poor sitting posture plays a massive role in how your eyes interact with that display.
Next up is Section 4, musculoskeletal and posture problems.
Okay, quick posture check. Are your shoulders hunched right now as you're listening to this explainer? Take a second and check your alignment. The whole design and positioning of standard computer setups actively encourage us to crouch and hunch forward. It creates this dramatic, totally unnatural curve in the spine. And over time, this poor posture doesn't just look bad, it causes acute, severe pain in the shoulders, the lower back, and the neck. Our bodies simply were not engineered to fold into a C shape for 8 hours a day.
Let's dive into Section 5, carpal tunnel syndrome.
This right here is the absolute biggest medical problem associated with computer work. It is the monster under the desk for data entry clerks, developers, and digital accountants. Carpal tunnel syndrome is a stress-related injury caused by repetitive movement of your joints, especially the wrist. I mean, just look at the average setup. You've got a twisted neck from an off-center monitor, a keyboard angled in a way that completely strains the wrists, a mouse that's placed way too far away so your shoulder is bearing all the weight, and a back entirely unsupported by the chair. If you do extensive typing in this terrible configuration, it leads to pain, weakness, swelling, and a really terrifying numbness in your hands and arms.
And finally, Section 6, Surviving the Digital Office.
So, what's the game plan here? How do we mitigate the drawbacks of all this amazing paperless tech while actually avoiding these physical injuries? Well, the very first defensive measure is hardware-based. Think about it. You wouldn't run modern software on a dusty 20-year-old computer, right? So please, don't run your body in a cheap, rigid chair. Investing in a fully adjustable chair is absolutely essential for your biological hardware. The height and seat position have to be easy to change so your back stays straight, your head stays up, and you aren't slouching. You want to pair that with footrests to keep your legs at a natural angle, and make sure your monitor is fully adjustable. Your neck should literally never have to bend downwards to read an email.
But beyond the hardware, you need a solid daily routine for your body. Here's a simple 3-step process. Step 1. Keep your eyes at least 18 inches away from your screen. Slap an anti-glare filter on there if you need to. Step 2. Regularly look away from the screen and intentionally focus on something way off in the distance. This helps relax your eye muscles. And Step 3. Take at least a 5-minute break every single hour. Stand up, walk around, and physically reset your posture.
Now, just as you protect your physical body with those steps, you have to protect the digital body of your business. A paperless business is incredibly vulnerable if you aren't prepared. You've got to thoroughly train your team, enforce the use of really strong passwords to prevent data breaches, and deliberately keep offline backup copies of essential files. And of course, always have a contingency plan for power cuts. Security applies just as much to your biological health as it does to your data integrity.
So to wrap this all up, the digital revolution is absolutely incredible. It saves us time, saves trees, and saves a lot of capital. But if you aren't actively managing your ergonomics, you are quite literally just transferring the operational friction of the old paper office directly into your joints and your spine. So I'll leave you with this. In the breakneck race to optimize your business, have you accidentally engineered a workspace that is slowly breaking your body? Let's make sure we're building a sustainable you, too.